Good afternoon, everybody. Caroline from Inspire to Change, your expert in reducing stress and anxiety. And you know what? It's been a long time since I've done a Facebook Live. I actually wanted to do this one down by the river today, but I had no internet connection and my battery died. So you've got me here at home in the garden. And I don't know, I think I've just felt really blocked about Facebook Lives. I don't know why. And actually I was talking to somebody else about feeling blocked the other day. She had so much stuff that was just building up, and she said she felt totally stuck, she felt totally overwhelmed, and she just didn't know where to start and what to do. And so I started to tell her a little story about when I was a little girl, and there was this lovely little babbling brook nearby where I lived. I have to be near flowing water, it's just such a part of me. And I would visit this little babbling brook every day on the way to school. It was on my route, which was fantastic, and I loved the noise that it made as it babbled. But one day when I went down, a branch of one of the trees had just hadn't totally fallen off, but it had obviously snapped and was starting to dangle down into the brook. And I could see it kind of flowing gently as the brook moved. But as the week went on, what started to happen was stuff started to build up behind this branch, and the more stuff that built up behind it, the slower the brook was babbling. And after the second week, it was totally blocked. It was hardly flowing at all. It was getting really stagnant. And what I tried doing was moving the stuff from behind. There's all the stuff that was building up. I tried kind of pushing it to the side and trying to clear it out, but of course as much as I did that, more stuff kept coming down and getting blocked behind this branch. And this is, I think, what happens to us so much, isn't it? Something blocks us, something blocks our flow. It doesn't have to be anything big. But what happens is all this stuff builds up behind it. And what we want to do, and what we try and do, is remove the build-up. We try and remove all that stuff that's building up behind it, and then we just feel so overwhelmed because it's as much as we're clearing it, the more stuff is coming, and we don't feel like we're getting anywhere, and we end up feeling stuck. Our flow is completely blocked. So I asked my friend, what's the one thing of all this stuff that's going on, if there was just one thing that you could resolve right now that would make the biggest difference, what would that be? And she very instinctively immediately goes, oh, I'd sort this out. Okay, so what's the smallest, simplest act that you can do in the next couple of days that will start to resolve that issue? And actually for her it was really simple. It was just having a conversation with somebody. And when I caught up with her, having had that conversation, it unblocked the flow. Everything else fell back into place afterwards. And this is so much of what I do as a hypnotherapist, is helping people to unblock that flow. What's the single thing that would make the biggest difference to us if we could just resolve that? And how do we start? What's the first smallest little step that we can take to help resolve that thing? And when we do that, we unblock the flow and everything just starts to fall into place after that. And I guess this is why so many people tell me they come back for their sessions and they tell me so many things have got better since they just did this one small little tiny action, because it's unblocked the flow. So next time you're feeling a bit stuck, have a think about, actually, do you know what, if there was just one thing that I could resolve, what would it be? And what's the smallest, tiniest action that you could take towards resolving that issue? Because that's the equivalent of removing that little branch across that brook, isn't it? Suddenly, everything else behind it is able to flow properly and freely, and you get your flow back. So I hope that's been helpful, and I'll catch up with you soon.